Welcome. I am Sam. This will be 45 minutes of power yoga. So we're going to focus on building some strength, which when we build physical strength, it also helps us build more sort of internal strength. It's strength to meet life's challenges and to sort of ride the waves of the ups and downs with a little more grace. So start by taking a comfortable seat. Close your eyes. Start to breathe in and out through your nose. Hope you've had a good start to your day. Now just whatever has happened, momentarily let it all go. So try to set aside all the planning for the upcoming week, replaying the things that have already happened, and just start to get present. So what does that mean? Start to check in with your body. Just notice things you might have not slowed down enough to notice before. How does your body feel? How does your breath feel? Are you breathing more into your belly? Is your breath coming more shallow and quickly at the sort of top of your chest? And if that's the case, can you slow your breath down? Try to breathe in and out through your nose. Letting sort of that purposeful breathing bring more calm to the rest of your body. With each exhale, you can imagine letting go of all the details, the stories that are playing in your head, the to-do lists. And as you exhale those details out, release some of the tension. Relax the muscles around your eyes. Soften your jaw, tops of your shoulders. And with your inhale, draw your hands together in front of your heart. We'll take 3 deep breaths in and out through your nose, all together. So start by exhaling completely and inhale. After your third exhale, gently release your hands, softly blink open your eyes, and make your way to all fours and into table. Shoulders stack over your wrists, hips directly over your knees, and spread your fingers so you can see mat in between each of your fingers. With your inhale, start to lift your sitting bones up toward the sky. Lower your belly toward the floor, but don't lose tone. So keep drawing your navel in even as you arch your back. Reach your chest forward, gaze forward. With your exhale, start again at the base of the spine. Scoop your tailbone, press the mat away. Keep drawing your navel in and up. As you press the mat away from you, draw your chin into your chest. Inhale to cow. Moving from the base of your spine all the way up to the crown of your head. Exhale, round. One more time. Inhale. Arch your back, gaze forward. Reach your heart forward. Exhale, scoop your tailbone round in. Then come back to a neutral spine to table. So again, it's really important here to strengthen your belly. So you're not letting your ribs splay forward, belly drop toward the floor. Keep some tone and a more flat back here. And stretch your right leg back, just at the height of your hip. The tendency will be you want to turn the right hip open. Try to roll the outer right hip down, level your hips. And notice now if your table has dropped in the middle, re-strengthen your belly. And look just a few inches in front of your hands to keep your head in line with your spine. And maybe stretch your left arm out. Palm faces in toward the center. Stretch out through your right heel and through your left fingertips. Strengthen your belly. And with your exhale, draw your elbow to knee. Inhale, extend out. One more time, elbow to knee, draw in. Inhale to extend. And then place your hand and your leg back down, back to table. So I find it's really helpful to find the tone to your belly before you move. So strengthen, even feel your low ribs pull down toward your hips a little bit. And stretch your left leg just to the height of your hips. So you're not trying to lift it super high. You'll see that causes you to usually arch. So just lift it to the height of your hip. Pull in through your belly. Lift your low ribs up away from the floor. Gaze just a few inches in front of your hands. Stretch your right arm out. Turn your palm to face in toward the middle of your body. Strengthen your leg. Make all the muscles that are on all four sides of your leg really strong. Make your arms strong, like you're hugging everything into the midline. Strengthen your belly. And then with your exhale, draw in. Elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, extend long. Hold it for a breath. And then bring everything back down. Walk your hands forward a few inches, tuck your toes. Lift your hips and press back, downward facing dog. You can start by pedaling your feet, bending one knee, press the other hip and heel back. Walking your dog, starting to wake up the backs of your legs. And then with your inhale, lift your right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, step your foot between your hands to a lunge. Bend your front knee to a square, knee over ankle. Back leg is straight and strong. Feel even the quad engaged. Your kneecap lifts. Stretch your chest forward, lengthen through your spine. Now turn your left fingertips a little bit more to the left and twist open to the right. Give your shoulders a little shrug up toward your ears and then take them back behind you to keep turning your chest toward the sky. Stretch your back leg a little straighter, make it a little stronger. And then with your exhale, bring both hands down. Step back to a plank. Lower your knees. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, scoop your tailbone around and take the arch away. Keep that tone to the belly, scooping your tailbone as you shift forward. Bend your elbows and hug them in so you hover as you come all the way down. Point your toes. Make sure your hands are in line with the sort of middle of your ribs. Spread your fingers. Roll your shoulders up and back as you curl up for cobra. Keep a little bend to your elbows. So when you straighten them, the arms tend to round forward. Bend your elbows and try to drag your hands back toward your hips. Get your shoulders to draw back. Lift through your heart. And then with your exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Wait for your inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step your foot between your hands, lunge. So if your foot gets stuck front of the way, just take another step, bring it off to the left. Take a nice wide stance, front knee directly over your ankle. Press into your feet and hug them in towards each other. So there's a lift to the back inner thigh. Stretch your heart forward, gaze forward. Really press into your feet. Get grounded through your legs. Now turn your right fingertips a little more to the right. You can even press down on the left thigh. Help you turn your chest, stretch your left arm up. Lifting through your belly, take your shoulders back. If your back knee bent, re-straighten it, make it super strong. And with your exhale, bring both hands down. Step back to a plank. So you can always lower your knees, or this time keep your knees lifted. Either way, shift forward. Bend your elbows to point straight back as you start to lower. Lift your shoulders. So you feel your upper back start to squeeze. You might hover a few inches above the mat, and then come all the way down. Point your toes. Roll your shoulders up and back as you curl up to cobra. So you're trying to get more curl in your upper back, right behind your heart, right behind your shoulders. Take your throat back, head back. And then with your exhale, press back, downward facing dog. With your inhale, lift your left leg in the air. Your exhale, step your foot halfway between your feet and your hands. Bring it all the way over to the left edge of your mat. And turn your left toes out 90 degrees. And turn your right foot in the same direction so you come onto the outer, the pinky toe outside of the foot. And you're going to come onto your right hand and your right foot. So it's a modified side plank. Bodhisasana. Press into your feet. Lift your hips. Now for a moment, lower your hips down. If your right shoulder is rounding forward, give it a little shrug up and back. And make sure your right wrist is a little bit in front of the shoulder. That'll take out any wrist pain. Lift your hips. Lift your belly. Turn your heart toward the sky. Grip with your right hand. Make your right hand strong, like you're suctioning down with all of your finger pads, the knuckle mounds of your hands. You can keep your left arm up or bring it to your left thigh. And we're going to lower your hips to just hover. And then lift up. And we'll do that 3 times. So lower your hips. And then lift. One more time. Lower. And lift. And then bring both hands down and make your way back to a downward facing dog. And we'll switch and do the second side. You'll lift your right leg high. Step your right foot halfway up the mat. Bring it all the way over to the right. Turn your toes at 90 degrees. And then turn your left toes to the right as well. So you're coming onto the pinky toe outside of the foot. Flex your ankle. And then lower your hips down to help integrate your shoulder. So make sure your left wrist is a little bit forward. Roll your shoulder up and back. And you'll feel your upper back muscles start to engage. Shoulder blade comes in toward your spine. And then with a strong hand, press into your feet, into your left hand, lift your hips. Stretch your right arm up or keep it at your hip. Lift through your belly. Try to lift your hips as high as you can. And then we'll do 3 hip lowers. So either keep your right arm up or bring it to your hip or your thigh. Your exhale, lower your hips just to hover. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Keep your shoulder back. Inhale, lift, and then bring both hands down and step back to a downward facing dog. From your shoulders, extend down through your hands as you stretch your hips up and back. And with your inhale, look forward, lightly step or hop your feet to the front of your mat. Standing forward fold, feet hip bone distance apart. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, bow. With your inhale, ground through your legs, rise all the way up. Stretch up. Exhale, your hands to your heart and release. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hinge and bow forward. Inhale, lengthen forward. With your exhale, plant your hands, lightly step back, either plank or you could hang in a downward facing dog. So remember, knees lifted or lower to the mat. Shift forward, lower your chest, keeping your shoulders lifted, maybe hover for a moment. And come all the way down, point your toes, curl your shoulders up and back. Cobra. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. With your inhale, lift your right leg in the air, stretch it up and back. With your exhale, step your foot between your hands, warrior one. Ground your back foot, turn it forward about 45 degrees. Heel to heel alignment, front knee bends to a square. Square your hips, square your ribs to the front of your mat, and sweep your arms up alongside your ears. Keep your back heel grounded as you sink into the lunge. Turn your palms in to face each other. Relax your face. Soften your jaw. Stretch strongly through your arms. One more full deep breath. And then with your exhale, bring both hands down. Step back, downward facing dog. With your inhale, lift your left leg high. Stretch it up and back. With your exhale, start to shift forward toward plank. Draw your knee into your nose. Inhale, stretch it back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Last one, knee to nose. Now you're gonna shoot your left foot off to the right. So you're gonna come onto the outer right foot. And so you're in a little bit of a twist here. And ground your left foot. Lift your hips. Turn your chest toward the sky. Keep really strong in your legs. Claw them out with your left hand. Turn your heart toward the sky. And then start to look across the room. Pull your belly back. Even start to lean back. Pull your hips back. Try to use your really strong inner thigh muscles to lift your left leg up. One more breath. Hold it. And pull it into your chest. Press back. Downward facing dog. With your inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose. Inhale, stretch back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. One more time, knee to nose. This time, shoot your right foot all the way over to the left. So if you have your foot lower down, that'll be a little less intense. The more intense it'll be is when you get your foot in line with your hip. And ground your back foot. Press into your legs, into your right hand. Lift your hips. Turn your chest open to the sky. Maybe stretch your left arm up. Keep breathing. Notice if you're holding your breath or clenching your jaw. Try to let that go. Soften. Now look across the room. Pull back through your belly. Lean back. Pull your hips back. You can start to drag your right foot back to lift it up. Make your whole right leg strong, especially from the inner thigh. Spread your toes. And then pull your knee into your chest and make your way back to a downward facing dog. And inhale, lift your left leg high, stretch it up and back. With your exhale, step your left foot forward, warrior one. Ground your back foot, heel to heel. Back foot turns forward about 45 degrees. Square your hips. So your bony hip points point straight ahead. Your ribs start to point straight ahead. And then sink into the lunge. Front knee directly over your front ankle. Sweep your arms up alongside your ears. Spread your fingers. Notice if your breath is coming a little less easily. Try to slow down your breathing. Ground through your legs, lift through your belly, stretch up through your arms. And with your exhale, bring both hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, plank. So your choice, knees up or down, shift forward, lower, and keep lifting your shoulders. You can come all the way down or to slide even more forward to an upward facing dog. So you're still trying to get the curl in your upper back, pulling your hands back. Lift through your thighs, try to press your hamstrings up toward the sky, press into your feet. One more full deep breath. And then roll over your feet, press back, downward facing dog. The end of your exhale, look forward, lightly step or hop your feet, your hands, standing forward fold, feet hip bone distance apart. Make sure your fingertips always touch something. So if you're a little more stiff here, just touch your shins, your ankles. You want your sacrum, the lowest part of your spine, to be the highest point. So try not to round through your upper back or your low back. Think about lifting your sitting bones, moving your thighs back, and keeping any strain out of your low back by making sure to touch something. Now bring your feet together. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Stretch your arms up alongside your ears. Spread your fingers. Sink down a little deeper. Bring a little more weight into your heels. Lift through your belly. Take your shoulders back. Throat back, head back. And with your inhale, press into your feet, rise all the way up. You can take a little standing back bend. Lift through your heart. And then inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart and release. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen forward. With your exhale, step your left foot back to a lunge. Ground your back foot. This time your front heel lines up with the center of your back arch. Rest your right forearm on your thigh. Strengthen your legs, lift through your belly, and stretch your left arm alongside your ear. Sink a little more weight into your front heel. So you bend your front knee to a square, knee over ankle. Lift and turn to look up under your left arm. Keep your legs and inhale, rise up, warrior two. Come all the way upright, stretch your arms to the height of your shoulders, turn just your gaze over your front fingertips. Flip your front palm and start to reverse your warrior. Left hand comes to the left thigh or slides down toward the left shin. You stretch up and back. Notice if you came out of the lunge to reach back. Sink a little more weight into your front heel as you look up under your right arm. Inhale, rise all the way up, cartwheel your hands down. Step back either to a downward facing dog. You can pause here in down dog, or you can always take a child's pose or shift forward plank for a vinyasa. Look forward, shift forward. Bend your elbows and come either all the way down to the floor for a cobra, or slide even further forward for an upward facing dog, lifting your thighs up. Wherever you are in your back bend, pull your hands back toward your hips. And then exhale, back downward facing dog. With your inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step through side angle pose. Then ground your back foot, heel to arch, left forearm to your thigh, right hand can start at your hip. Press into your feet, make your legs strong, hugging in. Sink your front knee to a square, working your thigh toward parallel. Your knee comes past your ankle, and move your back foot back. Take a longer stance. Lift through your belly, stretch your right arm alongside your ear. Take your outer right shoulder blade back. As you turn your chest toward the sky, reach through your right side waist, out through your right fingertips. Inhale and rise all the way up. Warrior two, keep your legs. Take a full breath in and out through your nose. Flip your front palm, reverse warrior. Stretch up and back. Sink into the lunge. Up under your left arm. One more full deep breath. And then inhale, rise up, cartwheel your hands down. Step back either to down dog. Feel free to take a child's pose or take a vinyasa. Shifting forward through plank, knees up or down, cobra or upward facing dog. Pressing back, your downward facing dog. Take a couple slow, deep breaths in and out through your nose. And then lower your knees. Coming to a forearm plank, so you can either have forearms down, hands in line with your elbows, or interlace your fingers, your choice. You're gonna tuck your toes, and I like to actually step back from like a table one at a time. That helps you find a little bit more of the feeling of what your low back should be. So no arch to the low back, strong lift to the belly. Look forward, right about where your thumbs are, so your head's in line with your spine. Feel free to stay here. You can always lower your knees as much as you need. And then we're gonna lift the right leg, but don't think about just lifting your right leg. Press your left leg down to lift your right leg up. Take one more full breath here, and lower your right leg. Now actively press your right leg down to help lift your left leg up. Don't try to lift it super high. Remember, no arch to the low back. Try not to lift your hips. Lower your left foot, lower your knees. Feel free to take a child's pose. Pausing. You can also make a pillow with your forearms. See what feels good. And then stretch back, downward facing dog. With your inhale, lift your right leg high. Bend your knee, trying to stack your hips. Your right hip opens to the sky. So to let your left heel melt toward the floor, but try not to let it turn out. So keep it pointing straight back. Lift your left shoulder even more. Try to hollow out your left armpit as you lift it up. With your exhale, sweep your leg through for pigeon. Come onto your outer right shin. Your right knee is slightly wider than your right hip. Your left leg points straight back. Hip, knee, ankle, all in one straight line. You can have your back toes tucked. It can help you keep the back leg aligned, or point your back toes, but make sure they also point straight back. Feel free to stay upright. It can be a nice place to work, or start to bow forward. Flex your right ankle. Come onto the outer edge of the foot as much as you can. Helps protect your knee. You stretch your hips. As we pause here for a little longer, notice what's happening. What's the patterns of your thoughts? What feelings have come up? What places are you holding tension? When we start to move quicker, it's easy to distract ourselves from being present, from observing what's happening. Check back in, start to notice, what is it like to build strength at your core, in your legs, in your arms. Take one more deep breath in and out through your nose. And then press into your hands. Lift your back leg up and stretch back, downward facing dog. And pedal out your legs. Notice if there's a difference between the two sides. And then inhale and lift your left leg high. Bend your knees, stacking your hips so your left toes go way over to the right. Try to lift your left knee high. And let your right heel start to melt toward the floor. The tendency will be for your right shoulder to drop. So lift your right shoulder extra. Press down evenly into both hands. Wait for your exhale and sweep your left leg through for pigeon. So notice how my left ankle is flexed. Trying to get onto the pinky edge side of the foot, just like in the side plank. Right leg, hip, knee, ankles, and one long line parallel to the long edge of the mat. Your hips will naturally twist a little bit here. So pull your left hip back, roll your right hip down and forward. You can stay upright as long as you need to settle in or bow forward. Even here, notice if you tend to arch your back, see if you can create just a little tone around your low belly. Press into your forearms and try to stretch out through the crown of your head. Maybe find some extra space where there wasn't before. Imagine your hips are being pulled back and down. So your hips are moving back. Spine is lengthening forward. Front foot stays active. So even if you're not on the outer edge of the foot, draw your toes back down into the mat or back toward your left knee so you keep your foot as active as you can. One more full deep breath in and out through your nose. And press into your hands, rise up. And stretch back, downward facing dog. Then lower your knees, come all the way to your belly. You're gonna prop up on your left forearm for a thigh stretch to start. The left elbow is under your shoulder, so you're lifting in your chest. Bend your right knee and reach your right hand back for your foot. Start by drawing your heel in toward your outer hip. And you might start to lean over to the left and lift your right hip. And try to ground it, bring both hip points down, shoulders draw to square to the front of your mat. Spread your toes and press into your left foot. Make your left leg strong. Try to extend back a little longer through your big toe. Now change to hold your outer ankle. Flex your foot so it points up toward the sky. And start to kick your foot back to help lift your chest. And you can stay here or come into more of a cobra with your left hand. You'll probably lower a little bit and then bring your left hand down to lift up a little higher. And your right thigh will be all the way down on the floor. And you can keep kicking back to stretch through your shoulders. Give it a little shrug up and back so you feel your shoulder blade coming in toward your spine. If you want a little extra stretch, you can, like a hitchhiker, you're gonna sweep your arm out, thumb points up toward the sky to hold the inner ankle. Keep kicking your foot back into your hand, grounding through your right knee, lift your chest, and then lower all the way down. We'll switch to the second side. So right elbow under the right shoulder, legs point straight back, bend your left knee, starting with the thigh stretch. Draw your inner right heel toward your outer left hip. Feel both hip points grounded, lift through your chest, square off to the front of your mat, not turning to one side or the other. Now release your foot and hold your outer ankle. Start to kick your foot back into your hand. And you can stay here or bring your right hand down and start to press up. Keep a little bend at your elbow, remember, like cobra. Kick your foot back. If you're feeling a stretch across the front of your chest, you could stay here or release. And remember, thumb points up toward the sky all the way back. You're externally rotating, and you can hold your inner ankle. Grounding through both thighs, lift through your belly. Take your shoulders back, keep kicking your foot into your hand. And then release all the way down. Pause, take a breath. Okay, we're going to come toward bow pose, Dhanurasana. So make sure your legs point straight back like two parallel lines. Bend your knees. You can reach back to hold the tops of your feet. Give your shoulders a little shrug. So lift them up toward your ears and then away from your mat. Spread your toes, turn them on like twinkly lights. Lift through your belly and then start to kick your feet back into your hands. Lift your thighs up, lift your chest up. Kick your feet back into your hands, lift everything all the way up. Maybe lift a little higher and then release all the way down. Make a little pillow, turn your head to one side. Take a couple breaths. And then reset your legs so you can rock your hips a little side to side. Legs point straight back. This time, bend your knees. You can reach back to the tops of your feet again or flex your ankles and hold your outer ankles. So sort of like what we did in the one-legged stretch, but now we're going to do it two. So if you're a little tighter in your shoulders, your knees will start to go wide. Hug them in. And try to lift your shoulders up toward your ears, away from your mat, and kick your feet into your hands. And this time, instead of lifting your knees up, try to bring your thighs down toward the mat and lift your chest. So again, just like what we did in the one leg, but now we're going to try to do it with two. So bring your knees all the way down. You need to really lift through your belly, kick your feet back. Strongly lift through your chest, take your throat back, head back. Keep kicking back, one more breath, and then lower all the way down. Make a little pillow. You can turn your head to the second side, and even let your big toes come together, heels go wide. That'll help release your low back. And flip over onto your back. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. So you're gonna make a little figure four. Activate your right foot. Flex your ankle, draw the outer foot back toward the right knee. And use your hands. Press one foot into the sole of your foot, one foot into your thigh, just above your knee. So you're hugging in right along the shin bone, and then widen your right knee away from you. So you create some stability. You might start to feel a little hip stretch, and then you can use your left leg to start to pull your legs down and toward your chest and increase the stretch to wherever your edge is. You can maintain using the muscles of your hips to keep widening your knee. You can hold behind your left thigh or around your left shin. Your hips might initially pop up, but try to imagine there's a big heavy weight attached to your tailbone. Bringing your hips, the back of your pelvis, down to the mat, even if it's just energetically. Create a little more length to your low back as you release your hips. Relax your shoulders. And stretch your left leg out and step on your left thigh with your right foot. You'll bring your left hand just outside the right knee. Right arm will stretch off to the side, or it can be like a cactus arm. And start to bring your knee up and over to the left. Your gaze can be up toward the sky or over toward your right arm. Whatever feels good on your neck. Inhale, back up through center. We'll switch and do the second side. Cross your left ankle over your right knee, flex your ankle, and as you lift your legs up, bring your left hand just above the left knee, right hand to the sole of the foot. And hug in along your shin bone, and then resist your left knee forward. So if you're tighter in your hips, your knee will naturally be closer into your chest. You're trying to bring your shin a little more parallel. And then use the strength of your right leg to pull your legs down to any degree, a little or a lot. You could stay here or clasp your hands around your right thigh or around your right shin. We'll pull your legs down the most. Again, trying to lengthen through your low back by bringing the back of the pelvis toward the mat or maybe to the mat. Stretch your right leg straight out in front of you. Step on your right thigh with your left foot. Right hand holds the outer leg as you bring your legs up and over to the right. Left arm can stretch off to the left or be a cactus arm. Just make sure your forearm and the back of your hand can rest down. Try to keep your left shoulder down. Relax through your shoulders, your face. Inhale up through center, hug your knees into your chest. And then stretch out for Shavasana. Bringing your legs long on your mat, feet wider than hips distance apart. You can gently tuck each shoulder underneath you. And let it all go. This feels like it's too intense. You can always bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest. Help you reconnect with your breath. Use your attention to scan your body. Notice if there's any areas that are still holding tension. See if you can actively release any gripping. Letting the weight of your body drop down. If you have the time, I encourage you to stay here for a few more minutes. Just giving yourself a gift of resting, not doing anything, just simply being in the body. If you're ready to make your way back to your day, you can bring some small movements to your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees one at a time. And then roll to your side. Pressing into your hands to make your way back up to a seat. Holding your hands together in front of your heart. Just taking a moment to appreciate your body, all the gifts of the yoga practice, of learning to cultivate physical strength, but also inner strength, emotional, mental, all of these different aspects that require us to be both strong and flexible. We'll take one full deep breath in and out through your nose all together. Exhale completely and inhale. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me here for another Duke Yoga class. And please feel free to stay